Have you guys ever gone back and reread comics from when you first started collecting? How good do you think your memory is of those stories? Well, I was wondering the same exact things, and that's what we're doing in this new series. So stay tuned to find out more. What's up, comic book fans? My name is Bruce Monroe, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the first episode of Bruce Rereads Comics. That's right, this is a new series here on the channel where I go back and reread some of the comics from when I first started collecting. Now you're probably wondering, Bruce, why are you doing this? Why are you going back and rereading old comics when you got so many new comics to be reading? Well, to be honest, I got super excited when I heard that Brian Michael Bendis was bringing back Kate Spencer's Manhunter and the DC summer event called Leviathan. Now, from my memory, from what I can remember, I loved the first series of Manhunter that I can remember. And when I did a little Googling, Wikipedia told me that the series that I read was from 2004 and was written by Marco Andreyko and was drawn by Jesus Saez. And I remembered loving this book, and I was so sad when it was canceled, and I'm so excited that Brian Michael Bendis is bringing back this character because she was a complete badass. So I got super pumped, and when I was up at my mom's over Memorial Day, I was like digging through my own long boxes because that's where I stashed them because her house is huge and my house is tiny. I found the issues and I pulled them out and I put them aside, but then I was like, oh my god, I have so many comic books here, and I started digging through them and I found so many awesome stories. So I was like, you know what? This could actually be a really good idea for a new series here on the channel where I go through and I just, reread these old stories, because I've actually never, in my history of reading comics, that's like 17 years of reading comics, ever reread a book. I'm just so into what's going on now, and obviously I'm a single dad now. I have a full-time job. My life is busy. I don't have time to go back and rereading comics. Well, I got a YouTube channel now, and I have an excuse to go back and reread those comics. And I want to test myself and see how good my memory and also my taste in comics, and see if what I liked all the way back in 2001, 2002 still holds true to today. So yeah. That's what the series is all going to be about. And this first episode is going to, like I said, is going to be discussing Manhunter by Marco Andreyko and Jesus Saez. So, like I mentioned, I have the first 41 issues here at my house in Long Island. I didn't read all 41. I read the first 10. And this is going to be like a little test run for the series. So before I read them, I kind of wrote down some notes on what I could remember from the series. Now, it's not a lot. Whatever I can remember, I remembered picking this book up because it had amazing banging covers. I probably didn't say banging back then, but some of these covers are just incredible. And I remember there weren't many women, at least from what I was reading, as leads in comic books. I was a huge DC fanboy at the time. I didn't read a ton of Marvel. Back in 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004. I was mainly in the Batman, Superman, those kind of stories. And the covers I'm showing you right now are all drawn by Jay Lee, who's still doing amazing artwork. So that's one of the first things I remember, is that, especially when I pull these books back out, is that these covers were just incredible. And the red stood out of her suit. It was just like, all right, let me give this a shot. Next thing I remember is that I remember this character willing to go across that line, when that line is killing. I remember in the first or second issue, she was like killing people. I was like, oh, 24-year-old Bruce was like, holy shit! It was incredible. Again, because I wasn't reading Marvel, so I didn't have Punisher, I didn't have Wolverine, I didn't have X-Force. I didn't have a lot of these characters. Batman doesn't kill, Superman doesn't kill. Like, no one in the DC that I was reading at the time killed. So this was awesome. And the fact that she was a woman, I was like, what is going on? My mind was blown. 24-year-old Bruce's mind was just, I don't know, it was blown. And I remember the art being really great. It was like definitely, my 24-year-old self was drawn to art more than anything else. I never looked at who wrote the book. I never remembered the name of the artist on the book. And looking back, that was a really dumb thing. That's one thing, if I could teach you guys anything, remember who writes the book, and remember who's drawing the book. In coloring too, because it's also very important. These are key key elements to comic book collecting, because when you have a writer that you like or an artist that you like, you should follow them to other books that's going to be bringing you other great material. So those are takeaways that I can remember before rereading this series. All right, so what are my takeaways after rereading the series? Well, first thing that stood out to me was definitely a point that I didn't remember, but it's definitely a point that I definitely remember now liking it, is this character was grounded. It was grounded even more than Batman, because this character is just a lawyer who decides, after she loses the case, to the super villain that she was prosecuting gets free and kills more people. She takes justice into her own hand, and she just goes into an evidence locker, finds a super suit, puts it on, and starts kicking ass. And that's all she is. And she's divorced. She's dealing with that. She has a son who has, and she's dealing with custody. It was just very real. My parents were divorced, and it felt real to me, and that was awesome. And it was awesome rereading it again, especially being a single dad and dealing. I haven't dealt with superhero stuff, but I've dealt with divorce. I've dealt with those kind of things, and that's something that definitely stuck with me, and it was definitely something that made me enjoy the character that much more. Another thing that stuck out to me after rereading it is you never see characters smoke in comic books anymore. Obviously, because we all know that smoking causes cancer, and we don't want to be putting cigarettes in the hands of characters where young impressionable kids are going to be reading them. But Kate Spencer's smoking cigarettes every chance she got, and I was like, man, this is definitely back in the time. Even though they did have her quit by the end of the 10th issue, or she was putting on nicotine patches and wanting to quit, but it was kind of weird, because I think the only character that I've seen smoking cigarettes lately is Constantine, but I could be wrong. There's probably plenty out there. This book also had great supporting characters. Her tech guy, which I believe his name is Carl. She found him because she prosecuted him and sent him into prison, and then he went to the Witness Protectness Program. I said it wrong again. You guys know what I mean. Protection program. And he used to work for a bunch of low-level supervillains, and he worked for some high-level ones, but he was good with tech. And she found him because her suit and staff got busted, and she needed it fixed, so she went to him. And he's like this slob, and I don't know, he's definitely a really good character. The writing in this book was also amazing. It was such good writing. I mean, definitely the dialogue was amazing. One of the things I didn't really enjoy about the book was they definitely rushed her becoming Manhunter, because she just puts on the suit and then immediately is out in the field and she fights Copperhead and she wins. This is a woman who, in the book, we get no background on her. We don't know, there's no little back history panel or anything showing that she was had any kind of fighting training, any kind of athleticism at all. She just puts on the suit and wins. So that was something that was a little lame to me. But besides that, the writing, another part of the writing that was so good, sorry, that was the only part of the writing that I didn't like. But the dialogue's excellent, the pacing is amazing, and the story is multi-leveled. Some books, they have story arcs, and then it's they just follow the one arc from beginning to end, and then they start a new arc and the new story. It's it doesn't run from issue to issue. Then this, the first arc was going, but the second arc was starting at halfway through the first arc. And then when you ended that first arc, the second arc was already there, and they already started building in another layer. So it was excellent writing. I really, really enjoyed that. I also liked the use of the villains in this book. They weren't I mean, obviously this is kind of I guess you call B or C level superhero, but they use these obscure villains. Monocle, the Calculator's not obscure, but they brought in Merlin, which is Green Arrow villain that we don't really see that often, especially even in Green Arrow now. Phobia. I never heard of Phobia before that. I haven't seen Phobia in a book since I think Manhunter. So it was just really cool seeing some of these obscure villains. Again, re-seeing some of these covers again are just so amazing. Not even all the ones by Geely. There's this one, yeah. When you search Manhunter, this one comes up a lot. I mean, this is just such an amazing cover, and it's drawn by Jesus Jose. It's just so freaking good. What else? Is there anything else? Sorry, I have my notes here. I just want to make sure I say everything. And I think the other thing that really stood out to me is that this is still such a strong female character, and it's like, why did they wait so long to bring this character back? It's because she is a female. There's not that many in comic books. Even today, there's a lot more, and it's definitely becoming more and more in the industry. But why not bring back another one? And there's so many have the kids gloves on them. Besides, the only ones I can think of are like X-23, and then a bunch of villains in the Marvel universe. Why not bring back one that is like, you know, for DC, that's a complete and total badass, that's willing to just go nuts? Like, bring her back. And I'm so glad they are, because obviously they are. But why did you guys wait so long? Yeah, so obviously you can, if you guys haven't been able to tell up to this point, this book was awesome, and I'm definitely really pumped to read the next 31 issues. I'll probably read all 31 and then do a final review of the book. I remember there was a petition once this book canceled to bring it back. I believe actually it was canceled once and they brought it back. I'll do a little research and confirm that. But yeah, then it was canceled after 41 issues. But yeah, it was so good. This first 10 is awesome, and I'm excited to read the next 31. And I'll bring, like I said, one more video on Manhunter and bring that back. All right, this is a question for you guys. So, since I've been reading comics since like 2001, and I know this because some of the first issues I was collecting, or I remember picking up at the comic book store, was Batman Hush. So, are there any books that you guys can remember yourselves enjoying from around that time frame? You can feel free to Google and think of books from that time frame, from 2001 up until, let's say, 2008. So 11 years ago. We can go up to 10 years ago. So that would be, yeah, 2009. If you guys have a series that you would like me to reread, put that down in the comments below. I'll dig through some of my long boxes and see if I have those, because I definitely want to keep this as something I've read before. I don't want to do anything that I haven't read before. So, yeah, put that stuff down in the comments below. And yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this episode, guys. If you guys liked this episode, what are you guys going to do? Smash that like button. If you guys aren't subscribed, make sure you guys do get subscribed. And as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in, stopping by, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks. Peace.